I'm gonna move this way. Book covers are gonna go here. Yeah. Let's talk about the 20 plus book releases that I'm anticipating for the rest of this year. Hi, hello, welcome and welcome back, Bookers Besties, to another video. As you can see by today's title and the little intro, whatever that was. Yeah, we're talking about some anticipated releases that I have for the rest of the year. There aren't that many because I haven't really kept up with book releases the last couple of years just because I've been in the slumps. But this is the most active reading year that I have had in a really long time. I'm at 72 books, which is wild in my head to conceptualize. Um, I does it yeah, the math isn't mathing in my head. That I'm at 72 books, the most books I've read in a really long time. I think ever really in this point in time in the year. But I digress. Nonetheless, let's talk about these anticipated releases. Like I said, there aren't that many, but there are a couple that I just like, are there. I won't be giving synopses of all of these books just because I go into books blind. So I am not your person if you were looking for a synopsis. Most of these books I know little to nothing about because they're either the first book in the series or they're the second book in the series, and I can't give you a synopsis for. Um, so I'm sorry. If you want a synopsis, don't come here for those until after I read the book because 95% of the time, not a single detail. The first book I have is Captive Traitor King by Bridget Kemmerer, which is the second book following Warrior Princess Assassin, which is a it's actually right here on my shelf. I can't get it, but it's right here on my shelf. And this is a poly thruple book. You're following the warrior princess and the assassin. I read this book earlier this year. Didn't know I was gonna love it as much as I did. I gave it like a 4.5 star. Book two is anticipated to be 5 stars, but I'm not trying not to get my hopes too high about it. But I am really excited. Book one focused more on character development, character relationships. It did have a plot, like it had a plot. We got the plot of the story, but I feel like book two was gonna dive deeper into like the politics, the plot, all of it, while still trying to keep a focus on our throuple. And I'm so excited for it because the way book one ended, the light that got shown on some things. Yeah, I'm so excited. Bridget Kimmerer has definitely become a newfound author of mine. I don't want to say a new favorite author, a new author by author just quite yet. I want to finish the Defy the Night trilogy before I say that and read this before I say that. But I can definitely see her becoming an author by author because I enjoyed Defy the Night a lot and I also enjoyed Warrior Princess Assassin a lot. So I have a feeling that I have a newfound favorite author. The next book I have is Dreamland by Olivia Blake. This is her new release. She actually has two books coming out this year. One of them I think is like Clara and the King, something like that. But I'm more excited for Dreamland just based off the cover of the book. Just seemed really good. But also, I have the plan to try and read some more Olivia Blake books. I actually want to do a vlog, maybe reading some Olivia Blake books. Don't quote me on that. I cannot promise you that, but I will. I can promise that I will be getting more into Olivia Blake. I've actually been thinking about finishing off the Atlas series by reading the Atlas Complex soon. This book intimidates me, but I need to get it over with so I can have this finished series checked off because I haven't finished that many series this year. But I digress. Like I said, I know nothing about this book. Don't really want to know anything about it. I know a lot about her other books, like Alone with You in the Ether, Masters of Death, One for My Enemy. Like those are some of the main ones that I really want to read. But like I want to read everything in her catalog. The next one I have is Dangerous Impulses, which is the fifth book in the Natural series by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. She's finally coming back to the series so many years later after finishing that. I finished Bad Blood in January of this year. This was like my second or third book that I read this year. 5 stars. My first 5 star of the year was like my second or third book that I read of the year. It was absolutely insane for me to pull out of a bag. But here we are. I don't really know anything about this book, but I'm assuming it's set after the ending of this book, but also the ending of the little novella we have in the back of here. I forgot what that's called. 12. I'm assuming it's set after 12. And then the ending of this book, which this book did make me cry. It did indeed make me cry, but I digress. Nonetheless, I'm gonna get into like I miss Dean and Cassie and Leah and Sloan and Michael and Briggs. I'm so excited for this. I think I'm gonna go out on like release day and buy this book. I know it's coming out on the like deluxe hardcovers that the rest of the series has been getting, so I wanted to have buy start buying those as well. But I think I'm gonna go out on release day and get this book because I'm just that excited for this one. The next book is Taipei Story by R.F. Kuang. R.F. Kuang is an author that I really need to deep dive into. Like that's one of my big things that like I need to do. I have avoided reading the Dragon Republic for a really long time, but it's something I'm gonna get to in July. I had a bunch of theme vlogs for June, but then I kind of got into a slumpish. I talk about that in my video that's coming up soon, but I've been feeling kind of worn out, burnt out with working a full time job and doing RE2, but I'm coming back slowly. But I have put off reading this, but I'm probably gonna get to it eventually. Hopefully in July with that vlog that I plan on doing. So with that being said, I really want to dive deep into R.F. Kuang. I have a little bit of time before Taipei Story comes out to try and read at least. I at least want to read Yellowface and Babel. Those two are the two that I'm most intrigued in. Just because Yellowface touches on the publishing industry as a whole, and then Babel is, I heard, such like a good story to read based off of her writing. And listen, I believe it because A Pocket War made me cry, The Dragon Republic, 10 times, 9 times out of 10 gonna make me cry, The Burning God probably gonna make me cry, like all of it's gonna make me cry. But I digress. I have heard some mixed things about this one just based off of some early people getting early copies of it. But I want to form my own opinion on it. That's always the type of person that is. I want to form my own opinion on things. So I'm really excited about this one. So who was gonna tell me we were gonna get another book set in my absolute favorite world, favorite series of all time? Who was gonna tell me? Because I wasn't notified. No one told me that, and I had to find out from a TikTok. And that is a what is it called? A Conspiracy of Charming Monsters by Holly Black. This is set in the Folk of the Air series. Who you? No one said anything to me about this. Why was no one going to mention the fact that we were getting a new book set in this world by Holly Black when we all know this is like my top tier, god tier series for me? And I wasn't. Yeah, no, that feels fake. Whoever didn't tell me, fake. Um, but I digress. This is one that I did not know was coming out until very recently. Actually, I was scrolling on TikTok and a TikTok came out about some anticipated releases they have. And this was on the list. And I was like, what? I don't even know what this book is about. I kind of want to look it up just because I didn't know what it's about. So, okay, it says from the brilliant mind of number one New York Times bestselling author Holly Black comes a collection of short stories gorgeously illustrated in full color and set in the fairy world where beauty can be monstrous and love can be capricious. I don't know how to say that in a word. I never do. A reluctant king is thrown into turmoil when the girl he loves to hate is stolen by the Undersea. An exiled redcap trapped in a mortal world must rediscover his inner monster. A mortal girl sacrifices the other half of herself for an unworthy fairy lover. A tiny sprite determination to prove herself puts the entire high court in danger. In this collection, number one New York Times bestselling author Holly Black combines her signature wit and lush world building with stunning full color art by Frostbite Studios and six irresistible tales that return readers to the world of the modern fairy tales and Elfane, including two never-before-seen stories, one revealing the interior life of Medic while in exile, and the other featuring the moment the High King Carden realizes what he most desires. I need this book like tomorrow. The fact that I have to wait till November for this to come out, this is another one that I think I'm gonna go out release day and get because I'm just too excited. I don't care. I don't care if it's literally just short stories. Anything set in this world, I need it in my hands. Any and everything set in the world of Elfame, I need it. The next book I have on the list is You're No Matter by Andrew Joseph White. This is his next standalone horror book. I have read The Spirit Bears Its Seed and Hell Followed With Us by Andrew Joseph White. I need to catch up. He has a lot of books out. I need to catch up. I need to read Compound Fracture, You Weren't Meant to Be Human, and I feel like I'm missing another one that I can't think of the name of for the life of me right now. But I digress. I need to read at least those two before this one comes out. Like that's like priority TBR list. You don't understand. Andrew Joseph White is an autobiography author for me. It solidified once I read The Spirit Bears Its Seed and gave it 5 stars. It made me cry. I There is nothing that Andrew Joseph White writes that I won't read. If he writes a grocery list and post it, I'll read it. Okay? Listen. After my love of those two books up there, I need more. I need more for my own sanity. I need more. I want more from him, and I wish he released. No, I don't, because his one book a year is like one of my best books of the year every single time I read it. Because How Follow With Us was on my top 10 the year I read it, and then The Spirit by the Sea was on my top 10 last year when I read it. So whatever book I read by him this year, maybe if I read a couple books by him, he may be on the list twice. But I try not to do them twice because it doesn't seem fair to other books I've read, but I digress. I'm really excited about this book. The cover of it, stunning. I love the cover of this book. I don't know if this one's YA or adult because I know You Weren't Meant to Be Human was adult. I don't know if this one's adult or not. I can. It's a young adult, and in all of his books, yeah, it's young adult, and all of his books are always queer. That's also like the top cherry on top is they're all queer, and I love that. The next book that I have on my to be release list is Espiritu. Is that how you say it? It's the second book following Cemetery Boys. I wasn't pulling that out. It's the bottom of that stack. Wasn't worth it. But this is the second book following Cemetery Boys. Now, Cemetery Boys has been up for a very long time, and this book was actually supposed to release last year, I think, but then it got pushed back to this year. And listen, Eden Thomas, take as much time as you need it with this book, babes. I don't care. I don't care. As Leave it alone. As long as I get more Yadriel and Julian, I don't care. Um, I don't know how soon this is said after the events of book one, but I just know that I'm way too excited and way too invested in whatever's going to happen in this book. Because I feel like there's some more at play that we didn't really dive into for book one. So I'm really excited to see how he expands on everything in book two because the magic system, the world building, the characters, the relationships that we built in book one were so solid but I feel like there was more that we could have done with the book. You know what I'm saying? And now look at the 5 star. So this is 5 stars already. I don't even care. I haven't even read the book. I don't even want an arc of it. I don't even think I could get an arc of it, but it's still 5 stars. The next book I have is one that I actually have an arc of, which I'm so happy the author sent me an arc of this book. She was like, she reached out to me on TikTok and was like, based on some of the content I've seen from your page, I think this would be a perfect book for you. Would you like an arc? And I said, yes. Yes, give it to me. And that is Drowning by Kiara Simmons. This is the first book in a duology, I believe it is. I think it's a duet. Don't quote me on it. I could be so wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's a duet. Where we're following our two main characters. I know a little bit about this book based off of what she told me. My God, I'm trying to find the book on Goodreads because Yeah, there's already some arc reviews of people who have gotten the arc for this. It's supposed to come out until November, but I have an arc of it now. I'm actually probably planning on getting to it really soon. So hopefully you'll see in a review wrap up soon. But this is following, I think it's a priest and a stripper. Listen, listen. I'm no better than a man. I'm no better than a man. Sometimes, like a cis male. Yeah, it's a priest stripper romance. And I said, give me, send the book my way. Just send it my way, babes. And I have it sitting on my iPad waiting for me to read. And it's actually high on my priority list because I don't get many arcs, especially recently, as I haven't been in the book space. I haven't been getting arcs. So to be offered an arc from the author herself, I'm so excited for this book. I'm so excited for this book. I don't understand. I don't understand. The next book I have is one that I'm not too sure that I'm exactly excited about, but I want to read to see what Veronica Roth does with that book. And that is The Sixth Faction by Veronica Roth. This is not set in the world of Divergent. This is like if there was a sixth faction in the world of Divergent. If Triss, like, I don't know how she explained it, but Veronica Roth was like, it's not set in the same world at all. And I was like, oh, okay. I'm still intrigued. I don't know if I'm gonna like it or not. That's still up for debate. That just kind of depends. Um, Whatever this book may be, I don't know. I'm a little scared because it's like it's been so long since I read Divergent. And listen, we don't talk about Allegiant. Allegiant was crappy, stupid, dumb in every way imaginable. Okay, I hated that book with a passion. If I could have given it 1 star, I would have, but at the time I was too invested into the series, and I gave it like a 3 star. Okay, listen, it was bad, it was terrible. I don't want to think about it. So hopefully she makes up for whatever the ending of Allegiant was with the sixth faction, because Allegiant was so bad, so bad. I don't want to think about it. Please, every time I think about Allegiant, it actually makes me want to cry from how bad I hated it. So I'm hoping she gives me something better with this one. But she said it's different from Divergent, and it's its own little series, not connected to Divergent. Although we're still following Triss, it's not set in the same world, and I'm kind of intrigued by it. The next one I have is The Emperor's Enemy by Jasmine Moss. I don't know how to say her name, but I saw the cover of this book and I went, I want to read it. This was purely based off the cover, but it is also purely based on the fact that I want to read other books by this author. I want to read the Butterfly Hercules, um, Psycho Sifters. I want to read that, and I have time enough to at least read one of the two series and be caught up by the time this one comes out to determine if I'm actually going to read it. But strictly based on the cover, I want to read it. Now, listen, that sounds insane. That sounds wild. I'm well aware we shouldn't be doing that in the year 2026 because covers can be very misleading. But I still want to read this book. I don't care. I don't care. It just looked good. Like it just sounds like something that I would really like based off the title and like the little small little description I read of it that I don't even remember now. I sound crazy when I say this, but I just want to read this book just for the hell of it. And maybe that's a big problem. Maybe that's a problem for reading online when it turns out I don't like this book. No, like, but on like a serious note, though, I do want to read this book. The cover spoke to me, but also Jasmine Mass has been on TBR for a while, and I really need to get to her. So, like I said, I'm hoping I can read Blood and Bonds of Hercules. I think those are the two titles before this one. So, does a third book in that series come out this year or next year? Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, oh, it's a duology. Oh, I can read that then. I got that in the bag. The next book I have for you is one that I feel like is on a lot of people's anticipated releases for the year, and that is Tempest by Victoria Aveyard. She is writing a pirate romantasy book, I believe. I don't want to say it's romantasy, but I know it's pirates, and I love a good pirate story. I love a good pirate story. I do want to attempt to read either Red Queen all the way through, from Red Queen all the way to Warstorm, or the Realmbreaker series from Realmbreaker all the way to Fatebreaker, I think it is. All three of those. Because I have read Red Queen and Realmbreaker before. I just never continued on with the series, and that feels wrong because it's Victoria Aveyard. I really enjoyed both of those books. I gave Red Queen when I read it like a 3 star, and I gave Realmbreaker 4 stars when I read it. It was a really good epic fantasy with amazing cast of characters who we got a point of view from everybody. Oh, it was so perfect. It was so good. No, I really, really enjoyed it, but I just haven't continued on with either one of them. I did prefer Groundbreaker over Red Queen. I don't know if it was because it was more adult or what, but I did enjoy that one over Red Queen. But I'm gonna get into both of them and finish both of them. Um, but I know this is a duology. This is a duet. I am so excited from the way she has advertised this book. It just sounds right up my alley. Like it's gonna be so so good, and I'm so jealous of everybody who has an arc of this book. If you want to send it my way after you read it, that's fine. It'd be really nice of you. Just a penny for your thoughts. The next book I have for you is Heartstopper Volume 7 by Alice Oseman. This is the last volume of this book. As I was saying, both, no, not both. Volume 7 is the last volume that we're getting out of the Heartstopper world, and I believe we only have the movie left for Heartstopper now. I'm really sad that they didn't do like just a more seasons of Heartstopper. Like it makes me really upset. I wish we could have gotten more seasons of Heartstopper. It was just so 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 good. But I'm really excited. I only have volumes 1 and 2 on my shelf here. I've been meaning to buy volumes 3, 4, 5, and 6. I just haven't come around to it yet. But this is one of my favorite graphic novels I've ever read. I don't read a lot of graphic novels. I read more manga, but I don't read a lot of graphic novels. But this is, if you don't know what it is, it's following Charlie and Nick on their journey and their relationship together because, what is it? Nick Nelson never knew he was into men, and then he met Charlie, and then they made a bond, and then he started crushing on him, and then he realized he was bisexual, and then him and Charlie are dating. It's, yeah, yeah, no, this is my heart. This is like my heart right here. And to know that's ending is so sad. Book 7 comes out July 7th, I believe. So it comes out actually really soon, like 2, 3 weeks from when I'm recording this and when you're seeing it. So go get it when it comes out. I will bully you into it if you don't already have plans for it. The next book I have for you is Daybreak by Autumn Woods. Now you may be wondering, Emerson, you have not read Nightshade. Nope. No, I haven't. You would be correct in that like assumption of knowing that I have not read Nightshade yet. But this is a duology. And Here's the thing. I feel more incentive to read a book when I to read a first book in the series, even when the second book is already out or the second book is coming out. And I have been thinking about Nightshade. I don't know why. I think it's because Becca made that video reading Nightshade, and I watched it from Becca in the books. I watched it, and she made me really intrigued to read the book and like watching her reaction and knowing she liked it. And we tend to have similar opinions on romantasy books, so I'm actually really excited to read Nightshade. I just haven't gotten to it yet because I have so many other books, so many other series that I have been prioritizing. But because the second book following Nightshade, the second and final book following Nightshade, is coming out, it makes me all the more want to read it and intrigued to read it. So that's the reason it's on the list because I can read Nightshade and then I won't have to wait or it'll already be out by the time I finish Nightshade and I can just go into book 2 the same month if I want to. Like 2 days later if I want to. Like read a book in between and then go into Daybreak. You see how the math, girl math. queer math. That's what we're gonna call it. The next book is one that I added onto the list tentatively because I haven't read more than Face Off by Chelsea Curto, but that is In Stormy Weather by Chelsea Curto. I think this is following two. What are they called? What are they called? What are the weather people called? Meteorologists? Is that what they're called? I don't know. It's following two of them, I think it is. That's really all I know about it. But I read Face Off by Chelsea Koto and I really enjoyed her writing style and the way she wrote the romance and that, and just in overall and her characters and all of it. So I'm actually really excited to get into a new release by Chelsea Koto. I do have Power Play on my summer TBR, and it's been eyeing me on my iPad every time I open it to read Nocticadia to pick it up, and I probably will soon. So I'm excited about that. Like I said, I really enjoyed Face Off. I did DNF it, and I went back to it like 2 days after DNFing it. It wasn't even 2 days; it was like a week, but that was because I DNF'd it, and I could not stop thinking about it. And I was like, maybe it wasn't a DNF, maybe it was I needed to focus on something else. And so I went back and finished it. I gave it like a 4 star, and I really enjoyed it. And I really want to read Power Play, which is book 2. But this one I'm really excited for because, like I said, I want to read more by Chelsea Curto, and I feel like it'll be good to read something outside of her DC Star series to see what you can do outside of just a hockey romance story, you know? This book is on everybody's anticipated releases for the latter half of this year, and that is Burn of the Everflame by Penn Cole. I am one of the people who has put off reading this series until we had a release date for Burn, and we finally got a release date for September 8th, I think it was. And so I read Spark of the Everflame last month. I want to try and get to Glow of the Everflame either this month or next month. And it felt like perfect timing because Becca in the books, I'm on her Patreon, and our series, Buddy Read, is this series, Spark of the Everflame, um, is being read this month, I believe, and then Glow is for July and August. And then, what's the third book? Heat is for September and October, and then Glow is for November, December. I think that's how it goes. Don't quote me on that. If you're in her Patreon, you know. But I'm super excited about this because I finally, like I said, I've dived into the series. I read book 1, gave it a 3.5 star, really enjoyed it. Just wish I liked our main character a bit more, but I digress. I also wish it was dual POV, and I think I would like it better if it was dual POV. That way, I'm not constantly in the head of DM. But I digress. I'm really excited for this one along with everybody else. Maybe not as much as everybody else, just because I haven't read Glow in the Heat quite yet. But I'm still excited nonetheless to finally get to the series and get into Burn. I mean, gosh, it's just so complicated. Glow and Heat, and then finally be able to read Burn whenever it comes out. The next book I have for you is The Wretched Divine by Adeline Grace. This is the first book in her new romantasy series. I don't know if it's romantasy or not. I think it also might be adult, which makes me so excited because I really love Belladonna by Adeline Grace. I have not read Foxglove or Wisteria yet, but mind your business. We don't have to talk about it. So yeah, that book just sounds really good. I actually applied for an ARC for it, but I'm probably gonna get turned down, which is fine. I'm just waiting when it comes out. It's really fine, that Gully. I don't want an ARC of it. It's all right. It's fine. I know nothing. Like I said about all these, I know nothing about this book. It's just on my list because I like Adeline Grace's writing and Belladonna, so I have a feeling that I'm gonna like her writing and whatever else she writes. I know she has another duology. I think it's called like All the Stars and Teeth or something like that. The first book, I don't know. Don't quote me on that. That I really want to also read. I just haven't worked it up to get to that point yet, and especially because I haven't even finished the Belladonna series, and I started that in like October of last year. So you know what I mean. The next book I have for you is To Dream. Yeah, To Dream in Darkness by Anne Liang. I have heard really good things about Anne Liang's book, so I'm putting this on the list. Specifically from Jamie. She talks about Anne Liang like all the time in almost all of her videos. She's read, I think, all of her books, I believe. Um, so I'm really excited for this one. Like I said, I've heard really good things about Anne Liang. I know she does fantasy, but I think she also writes romance. And don't quote me on. I'm pretty sure about that. I think she wrote like a K-pop romance. Is where I originally heard about her, and then I heard about her from Jamie from A Song to Drown Rivers, and so I'm excited to get to this one. Like I said, I don't really know anything about it. Who would have guessed? But when I saw that there was a book coming out from her this year, I was like, I want to read it. Maybe this could be my first Anne Liane book that I get, or I could read another book by her before then. But it probably will be this would be my first book by her, just because I want to read it. The next book I have for you is The Wolf King by Lauren Palferman. Is that how you say Palfreeman? Palferman. We're gonna go for Palferman. This is the third and final book in the Wolf King trilogy. I'm actually currently reading The Wolf King. I was waiting until closer to release for book three to start this series, so that way I wouldn't have to reread all both of them before going into this one. So I'm actually really excited. I'm really enjoying the Wolf King. Is not going to be higher than like a 4 star, just because I feel like we've kind of blubbered a little bit here. We're at a little bit of a stalemate, but now we're gonna get into the thick of things. So I'm actually excited to see how things go. I'm loving the love triangle-ness of this. It hasn't really felt like a love triangle yet. I feel like we're leaning more towards one main character right now. But I heard that book two is about the other guy. We follow more along with the other guy in the love triangle. And if she does not end up with that guy, it's gonna be Endgame. It's gonna be end for me and Laura Palmerman. You will hear words from here from me because I think she deserves to end up with this other guy. It's Callum and Blake. I won't tell you which one if you haven't read this yet, but if you have read this and you know, you know. I'm also not done with the book, so if you know things, don't tell me. I'm only on chapter like 36 in the Wolf King. I still have about 45% of the way through the book, but that's what I'm trying to finish today. So it may be finished by the time you're seeing this video tomorrow, but it may not. So do that what you will. But I digress. Really enjoying it, so I'm actually really excited to see how this ends. I don't even know how book one ends or book two, but I'm still excited nonetheless. The next book I have for you is The Fire at Dusk by Danielle L. Jensen. She's the author of The Bridge King and whatever her other duology was that I know not many people liked. I have read The Bridge Kingdom and The Traitor Queen by Danielle L. Jensen. I just have not continued on with that series yet. I really need to, like I said, it should be a priority just because I have read the first duology and that. I'm gonna have to reread it because I don't really remember it. But I have read them and I really liked her writing in it. So I have some expectations going into this one, but this one also just sounds really, really good. I don't know very much about it. I saw the cover of it and was like, oh yeah, I want to read the book. Um, I just saw that it's a post-apocalyptic fantasy, and that has me even more intrigued. Wait a minute now. Wait a minute now. This might become one of my most anticipated releases just because of that. I love a good post-apocalyptic world fantasy book, whatever, and I need more of them to be published. The next book I have for you is Curse City by Kate Golden. I actually have Half City right here. I have yet to read it. I know that's probably a good thing to have the second book on here, and I haven't even read the first book. But I have such good hopes that I'm gonna love Half City enough, okay, that I'm gonna want to read Curse City. That's purely based off of other people's reviews and how a lot of people have read and raved about how good this book is. So it makes me super excited to see how I'm going to like it, but I feel like I'm also going to like it just based off of the people that I watch, because I try to watch people whose opinions I line up with or people who I read the same thing from, so that way they can recommend me stuff. That way I can read it and we can all learn about it together. Yeah. Okay. The next book I have is The Fall of the Crown King by Amber V. Nicole. This is the fifth book in the Book of Azrael series. Now you may be wondering, Emerson, you've only read the first book in that series, and you would be right. But again, this is another series that I have plans to continue on with and to try and get caught up by the time that book comes out, or be at least done with book 3 and going into book 4 by the time this one comes out, because I'm still really excited. I'm really liking the series. Like book 1 was good, but I feel like we're just getting to, like, we just got the top surface of it all. In book 2 we're gonna get dropped into the middle of it all, and I actually did start book 2 a while back, and I got a good chunk of the way through with it. But the mistake I made was I read two Chucky books back to back because I had just finished City of Gods and Monsters, and then I went directly into the Third Book of Gods. Which, if you haven't seen the Third Book of Gods, I will show you what it looks like. Okay, and you see how chunky City of Gods and Monsters is. I was trying to read two chunky books back to back, which was number one biggest mistake, and I slumped myself out for the last 2 months of 2025. And then I went into this year thinking I wasn't gonna read that much, and we see where I'm at now. But yeah, I made the mistake of trying to read two chunky books back to back. This is on my summer TBR. I'm actually about to start my reread of the Book of Azrael, so I'm super excited to finally go back to this. Um, I just can't wait. I really can't. Like, you don't understand. So that's what makes me excited for book 5, because I feel like there are just so many different things that are going to happen over the course of the next 3 books I have to read in the series. That by the time I get to book 4, the ending of book 4, I'm gonna read book 5 immediately. And the last book I have is The Witch by Frida McFadden. This is her release for this year. I think she has 2 releases for this year because I recently heard that she released a book recently, and I think this is her like fall release for this year. I recently read The Housemaid by Frida McFadden. I actually, in my library bag over here, I have The Housemaid's Secret, which is book 2, following that one. Um, I'm gonna fly through this. Anyways, I have read that recently, really enjoyed it. So I feel like I'm about to go into a deep dive of Frida McFadden. My library actually has a lot of Frida McFadden books. So I'm actually super excited to get to that finally and dive into all of her books. She just recently did a face reveal, actually, which is pretty cool, I would say. And she's a surgeon. My question is, babe, how do you have so much time in between being a surgeon and you write books in your free time? Anyways, I digress. I'm really excited. I cannot wait to read more Frida McFadden. It's like one of the things I want to do is read more thrillers and mystery books. I don't want more sex. I don't read a lot of adult ones. I read YA ones. So that right there, besties, is all of my Instagram releases that I could think of off the top of my head. Now you may be thinking I'm missing some, and I technically am. I'm missing like The Last King of Fairy, which is the newest release in the Shadow Hunters world. I won't even be close to caught up by the time that book comes out. I'm only on City of Glass in the Shadow Hunters world. So by the time that book comes out, I probably won't even have read Lady of Midnight by the time that one comes out. So that's why that's not on the list. But I digress. I still talk about a lot of books here. Some of them I'm more excited about than others. Some of them I need to catch up on series to read. But I digress. It's all in the plans, all in the works, guys. Okay, you gotta understand. I have a plan to get to these books. But I hope you enjoyed today's video. I hope you have a great day, evening, night, morning, afternoon, and whatever part of the world you're having. And if you have any anticipated releases that you want to tell me about, give me a synopsis of in the description. I mean, in the comments, you can. Whatever you want to do, that's up to you. As always, Instagram, Goodreads, Fable, and my TikTok will be linked down below for you guys to check out if you would like. But I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!